Hello everyone, my name is Chance Brunton and welcome back to the StarCraft II Wings of Liberty campaign. In the last episode we started playing a small subset of missions where we get to play as the Protoss. We played specifically as Zira Tool, who visited an alien world to find a prophecy that tells of the destruction of the universe. He gathered the fragments of the property and stole them away from the Zerg, but he doesn't understand the prophecy. So in this episode, we are going to go visit the preservers on Zakul so that we can get them to interpret the prophecy for us. Unfortunately, it may not be that simple because something else may have already beaten us there. So let's get started and see what it is.
Alright, Zira Tool, old buddy, you got your mysterious prophecy. Now let's see what your preservers made of it.
Again, these are all Zira Tool's memories that we are seeing through this crystal.
My quest to decipher the prophecy took me to the forbidden archive world of Zakul. Here, 3 immortal preservers guarded ancient knowledge. Only they could transcribe the prophetic fragments. I needed to seek them out quickly.
Okay. So let's see what they have to say. Now, probes are the workhorses of a Protoss base. They gather resources and build Protoss structures. So probes are SCVs, basically, which are our units, which build structures and harvest resources. This mission is going to be interesting, aside from its own mechanics, because we are going to be introduced to Protoss bases. Up till now, we've been playing as Terrans. So in the last episode, we got a little tutorial about how Protoss units work, the fact that they have regenerating shields and that stalkers can blink and all that. But now we're going to get a full base where we have to harvest resources, build buildings, construct the units that we need from those buildings to build an army that we can then use to take out the enemy. Classic StarCraft stuff. Their bases work a little differently than ours. But they are alien after all.
It is strangely silent here, yet these structures are intact. With power, they would be functional.
And it's no simple electricity either. To be fair, it's actually kind of easier because it's wireless. So the Protoss power everything with psionic energy, I believe. But these buildings I'm going to construct now with this probe. This guy here is a little probe. He's a main worker like our SCVs. He can build buildings, harvest resources. His buddies are up here harvesting some minerals, and I'll get one of them to warp in an assimilator, which is like our refinery. It allows them to get gas. And this one is going to warp in a couple of pylons. Pylons provide short-distance wireless power to nearby structures. So that will revive all of these structures. And you can see when I click on one pylon, it shows the radius that will be powered. That will become a little bit more opaque when the pylons actually finish, like this. So now we have something powered up. We can look at all these one by one.
The mighty spirits of the preservers are imprisoned close by. We must find them.
So this is the forge. It is where we get upgrades like the Terran Engineering Bay. Down here is the gateway. It is like our barracks. It allows us to build basic units. The 2 most prominent basic units of the Protoss army are the Zealot, which is a frontline unit to tank damage. And by tank, I mean just kind of absorb damage. And then the Stalker, which Stalkers we saw in the last episode.
There are many abandoned structures in this place that we can make use of. They merely need their power restored by the construction of a few well-placed pylons.
Is the void.
We saw Stalkers in the last episode.
The preservers you seek serve a higher power now, Dark One. Very well.
We'll kill this one quickly, and I think I'll be interrupted again.
higher power. What could have corrupted these Protoss so? Truly, something foul has taken hold of this sacred place.
So, stalkers can blink around, short distance teleport to keep them out of danger, and they fire from a distance, usually from behind the zealots. Then the Protoss have a variety of other things up their sleeves that we've seen when they were our enemies in some previous episodes. They have Colossi and they have Archons and they have other stuff they can add in the mix. They have a variety of air units. But we don't have to worry about any of that right now because we don't have it yet. But we'll see more of that later. So right now we're just kind of building up our base. We don't know quite what we have to do yet other than build up and get ready. This is what we've got to deal with, though.
Protoss and Zerg hybrid. Gods, an abomination. Who created this atrocity?
Come, my slaves. The time has come to give me your strength.
So that's pretty terrifying now. Zerg and Protoss, they are like polar opposites. And all of a sudden we find a hybrid.
Construct additional pylons.
And that's really dangerous. They're both dangerous individually, but with the strengths, if you took the strengths of both and put them together, that could be devastating. So I'm going to add a couple more pylons towards the front of my base, and the reason is this. We have access to something as the Protoss the Terrans don't have, which I love.
This knowledge is forbidden.
Oh, he's coming our way. The Protoss have access to something I love, which is a frontline defense mechanism the Terrans don't have a real equivalent for. Terrans just have to put barracks and load them with units, but Protoss have an entirely unmanned defensive system, which is the photon cannon, which you can see here. The photon cannon attacks air, it attacks ground. It's pretty strong, it's powered by a pylon, and it can detect invisible units, which is perhaps one of the greatest things about it. Nothing can sneak by your photon cannons. So now here's the hybrid. We can kill him easily. But that's not the problem. And here, I'll blink. Oh, he keeps changing his target. I was going to blink that stalker back so that it'd be safe, but I don't actually have to. Oh, now it might be a good idea to blink it back. We'll need some more zealots, I think.
I shall return.
That's the problem.
Come, my slaves. The time has come to give me your strength.
The hybrid is draining the preservers to survive. I must free them before it is too late.
Alright. So, before I do that, though, I'm going to keep just kind of defending the base here.
Your lives are forfeit. Surrender to despair.
He's already coming back. That's a problem. That's a bit of a problem. The buildings over here, I'll just mention real quick, the Twilight Council and the Cybernetics Core. Those both allow for upgrades and allow different things to be built. Like the Cybernetics Core allows for air upgrades and allows stalkers to be built. And the Twilight Council has some upgrades for zealots, as well as allowing some other units that we don't have yet to be built. So it's funny, we should actually have them because we have a Twilight Council, but because it's kind of still tutorially and early, we just don't have them yet to keep things simple. So right now we have only basic units. We just need to kind of build up our forces. He is going to keep coming back again and again and again, and he is not going to stop. He's going to get stronger every single time. So that's the terrifying part of this mission, and it also means that it is to our advantage to complete this mission
Resistance ends this day.
as soon as possible.
For the reckoning.
Now, for anybody who's familiar with Protoss multiplayer, because this is really bothering me, I'll just point out there's a couple of things that I don't have yet that I really should, but it's just, again, it's early, it's tutorial. Normally the Nexus can chrono boost to make buildings work faster. So, like, you could make mining happen faster to increase resources, and a good Protoss player would always be on top of that and make sure that they're making resources as quickly as possible. I can't do that. These gateways could be made into warp gates to warp in units like I warp in buildings. Again, I can't do that because it's not letting me. So there are a few things missing here if you're familiar with how Protoss should be played. But we'll get the... We'll get the access to those later.
Very wise.
In the meanwhile, we'll just have to continue with what we have.
A robotics facility. This structure may prove useful to us.
Is the void.
Now, I'm going to power this robotics facility. You can see it's unpowered currently, using a pylon. And continue upgrading everything and make sure everything's up to date. When that gets built, then we'll be able to build those now, and we can construct Immortals.
I return to serve. My thanks, mighty one.
So constructing Immortals is awesome. Immortals are great against heavily armored and high damage units. They're going to be fantastic helping us against the thingy, the hybrid, the thingy. Oh, but now he's learning new tricks. He's picking up our units, making them temporarily useless. So that's a bit of an issue.
You cannot destroy me. I shall rise again.
So just continue building up economy, continue building more and more units, construct a bigger and bigger army. As always, I must construct additional pylons, something which has not changed since the very earliest days of StarCraft. I need to find the idle probe to do that, and make sure the army is adequately defending the right-hand defenses.
Oblivion comes, none shall stand.
Now,
A dark shrine. Once power is restored, it could be of great value to us.
between attacks, I am going to make sure to come out and pick up these structures as I work my way closer to the enemy base. I need to get all of these research structures to unlock additional units and things to help us in our defense. We are fully mining from this base, so that is great.
Base is under attack.
And doing good damage to the Archon. They're slightly irritating because they are attacking. They seem to always attack with their main forces.
Zira Tool, truly fate has sent you here.
Join me, brothers, and we shall cleanse this place of evil.
Command us.
They always attack the side the other guy is not attacking.
Cease your foolish struggle. There is no hope.
Where the hybrid is not attacking. But so now what we just got, we'll push a little further here because they're not quite ready to. The Archon's not the other guy, the hybrid. He has not yet reached our base, so we can take some time here to push out and do some damage. I would like not to just let our automated defenses deal with him, so I would like to pull back a little bit now and help deal with him a little bit. Blink to get the stalkers up there faster. So one thing we just got access to is another gateway unit. When we got this dark shrine, we got the ability to build Dark Templar, and 2 Dark Templar. Dark Templar are permanent cloak. They're basically Zira Tool without the fancy abilities he has, except for the permanent cloak. The other thing you can do, though, is you can combine 2 of them, and that's how you make these Archons, which we saw the Protoss had earlier. And the Archons are really powerful and very useful. However, we need additional pylons. So let's build some additional pylons. Let's send the probe down to reclaim the structure.
This Templar archive lies abandoned.
Unseen. Intriguing.
We need to defend our base. So we need to, well, let's power the structure and then send the probe back home. We need to build additional cannons. And we need a bigger army. Army is far more important than static defenses. So, although we do need additional photon cannons, our even bigger priority is additional units.
I am here in the shadows.
So let's just buff the defenses around here a little bit. We have quite a bit of money. I really should be spending more of that on the army, but it's a hard thing to focus on. And I want to get some more Dark Templar.
Our liberation is at hand.
Ready yourself, noble warrior. We confront a terrible evil this day.
Yeah, so now we have Templar Archives, which allow us high Templars.
Your existence ends this day.
These guys are physically very weak, but at the same time, they are great spellcasters, basically. They can do all sorts of devastating things. We did, in fact, see one before. It was bombarding us with the psionic storms when we were trying to cross a bridge when recovering the first artifact. And it just devastated my Marines. So we just got another couple Dark Templars, so I'll start merging them into some Archons, because the Archons are very useful. And then kind of get my army out and try and engage. Even with my whole army destroying him, he takes a long time to kill. So that's something to be aware of. And how are we coming on building the army? We need more pylons. We need additional pylons. Still. Always need pylons. We want to get as close to a full army as possible. And we need to start pushing out of our base and moving back towards his base. We are as fully upgraded as we can be now, so that's good at least. We've got a fairly strong force. So now, one other thing we can do, which I never really thought of before, is we can feedback him, which is something the Templar can do, which drains all his energy so he can't use abilities, and makes it so that it deals damage to him for every energy point drained. Because units like the hybrid and other things that can cast spells usually rely on energy to cast those spells. And so you can drain the units of all their energy, and then they won't be able to cast any spells. Simple as that. Makes things nice and easy. Made that hybrid a lot easier to deal with just now. I expected that to be very difficult, and in fact it was really easy because I noticed feedback.
Oblivion comes, none shall stand.
Feedback is really something you should use a lot, probably, but I'm not very good, so I don't. But I'll feedback him, and now he can't use all his special abilities. He can only do basic attacks. And that makes him really easy, actually. So I can just blast through him. Perfect. Okay. So, queue up some more reinforcements, and let's push into the enemy base. Let's blink some stalkers up there, just get them into the fray. Because we're in kind of a choke point right now, and that's bad. But once we get out of the choke point, now we can just do some devastating damage. Just rip the enemy apart. I think there's an achievement for killing them all, but I have all the achievements already, so I don't really care.
The spirits of the preservers are entombed within. We must break them open immediately.
Oblivion comes, none shall stand.
Well, you certainly won't. Destroyed you. So now we break each of these cages open, which is much easier than I remembered. But last time I played it, I probably played this on Brutal, so this is usually a hard mission.
We have seen the prophetic fragments in your mind, Zira Tool. We will make of them what we can.
Great, Protoss mind reading. Saves having to relate the whole thing.
The cycle shall draw to its end. The Xel'Naga who forged the stars will transcend their creation. Yet the Fallen One shall remain, destined to cover the void in shadow. It begins with the Great Hunger. It ends in utter darkness.
A great hungerer. Could it refer to the Zerg Overmind? It has a part to play in this prophecy. I must seek out the Overmind's final resting place. Our ancient homeworld of ire.
Okay. So, right now, the Zerg operate on the Zerg have operated on a hive mind basis. Now, right now, the Queen of Blades rules over the Zerg, and she is the central intelligence for them all. But before her, there were Zerg, and they were controlled by the Overmind. And the Overmind, in fact, captured and created the Queen of Blades. Hyperion Cantina 1532 shipboard time. Okay, we're in the Cantina. Raynor just couldn't go any longer without that drink. But now we've got more research points, so we can unlock some new tech options. That's pretty awesome, and we can see what people have to say. But I'll just say that the Overmind was destroyed when Kerrigan took over, but that was completely unrelated to her, at least that I can remember. It was destroyed by a Protoss hero, Tassadar, I believe, managing to crash a giant ship into it and killing it. But that took place on the Protoss homeworld of Ire, which I mentioned was overrun by the Zerg, and I believe Raynor mentioned it too at one point. Raynor helped with the evacuation of Ire when it was overrun, so it ties in kind of there to his story, all that's going on here. So Zira Tool is going to go back to where Raynor helped them evacuate, and see what he can learn from the Overmind, which has been dead, supposedly, for some time. Now let's go to the lab, because the most important thing to check out before the next mission is what research we have. It's not going to help us in the next mission, but it's still really cool. And it will help us as soon as we're done with the Protoss missions. When we go back to being humans again, then this research will be very useful to us. So let's start with the Protoss research. The Protoss research gives us two possible upgrades. We can either automate refineries so that we no longer need SCVs to mine gas from them. This comes from modifying warp technology to transport gas canisters. Or we can allow research that has two SCVs trained simultaneously, so we can build up our worker count twice as quickly. Although, a trick to that is that's nice when you have money to build the workers, but early on, so like you only have the money to build one worker at a time. It's kind of nice to have fire and forget refineries. Especially, there's a excuse me. There's a mission coming up in future where we'll be running short on Vespene gas, and mining is going to be an issue, and it's particularly nice there to have refineries. But it's useful in any mission. This is insight comes from Protoss containment fields, whatever. So I think automated refineries are the way to go. And that dovetails well with the microfiltering, which makes refineries faster. So now we have fast automated refineries. real improvements in Vespene mining technology. And then for the Zerg, we have units that we can research. So we can either get the Predator, which is an anti-infantry specialist, and can blow up massive numbers of Zerglings, useful. Or we can get the Hercules, a massive troop transport that can deploy troops instantly. Now, deploying troops instantly is really nice. Well, it's not instant, but it's almost instant. But I mean, look at that. That makes invasions so much easier. If you look at that movie showing those Marines taking things out, if they were deployed one at a time, they would just be slaughtered. And in fact, the ship would probably be destroyed before they could be dropped. And if it's destroyed in flight, loaded troops survive. So, all pretty nice. There is another ship that we will get called the drop ship that we can use to do this, but it has problems that units are destroyed if the ship is destroyed and the units are inside. It deploys them one at a time and all that, but it does heal units too. So, you know, like the medics. So it's an interesting question what we would use. Since we do have another ship to fill that role, I'm wondering about maybe the Predator as an anti-infantry specialist, maybe? Oh, this is a very tough call. Very tough. But let's go with the Predator, because we'll probably be walking our armies most of the time instead of having to drop them. So it'll probably be useful in more circumstances. And then let's check out what everybody has to say and what things are available. There's news.
Level 800, Elite Tauren Chieftain is back with a new album, pulse-pounding rock that will shake the galaxy. Rock out with such hits as Rogues Do It From Behind, Terran Up the Night, Another Hydralist Bites the Dust, Saturday Night's Alright for Nuking, Lucy in the Sky with Mutus, Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Touring in Your Galaxy, no! Rock and roll!
Really like that Lucy in the Sky with Mutas. Mutas is short for Mutalisks. So the Zerg flying unit. Can we see any other commercials? No, same commercial. Sometimes you can watch various commercials, and there's one for like an eye pistol, which is hilarious. So then, does Swan have anything to tell us? Yes.
What's up, cowboy? You know, you're looking kind of rough lately. Rougher than usual, I mean.
I've, got a lot going on right now, Swan. You know how it is.
Yeah, sure. You know, you might want to try laying off the sauce and getting some shut-eye once in a while, huh?
Thanks, Mom. I'll get right on that.
It's true. Drinking is not a good idea.
Welcome back, sir.
Period. But especially now.
What did you discover from the crystal this time?
It's that obvious I used it, huh? Zira Tool took the prophecy fragments he found to a temple, library, kind of both, I guess. But this weird Protoss Zerg hybrid had taken over the place.
You mean some sort of infested Protoss?
No, this wasn't like infestation at all. It was like someone took the strengths of both races and twisted them together. I gotta tell you, if these things are real, we're in a lot of trouble.
They are real. And we are in a lot of trouble. I mean, the whole point of this is that Zira Tool discovered the end of the universe. Real quick, before viewing the next mission, we have some updates on what's going on in the Protoss and the Zerg tank, which I think are the most interesting updates. There are various ones I'm not going into on the ship, but I thought these were pretty interesting. All the vehicles and things we unlock, we can go read something about in the armory. If people are interested in that, let me know. But basically, I think these are more interesting. So for the Protoss sample, I've been staring at that anomalous sphere above the crystal. It's obviously an energy emitter, but it has such strong containment that the crystal can slowly draw power from it via some method I don't understand. That gives me an idea. Using our own containment technology, I could modify our SCV manufacturing process to double capacity, with no increased risk, I think. Breakthrough! The energy in this crystal is not kept in a vortex pattern, it was warping the energy around so fast that I couldn't detect it. In an odd coincidence, the warping slowed just enough for my sensors to pick it up. Not sure how or why. Every time I reach my wit's end with this sample, something happens by chance and I get a breakthrough. Is it helping me? Clearly, I've been working too many hours. I'm going to go lose some more credits on Lost Viking. Lost Viking is that arcade game in the Cantina. I might make a video or two on that after I've finished with the campaign to show what it looks like. It's very hard. So now for the Zerg sample. The Zerg sample has developed an ocular organ. Will limbs be next? There is a basic dichotomy to Zerg cell reproduction. Type A cells throw off seemingly random mutations. Type B cells hunt down these mutations and destroy them. It's survival of the fittest on the cellular level. Successful mutations thrive. I used microscopic scrapings from the sample to test an electrical discharge field I've been tinkering with for some time. The results were gratifying. As an interesting side effect, the Zerg matter developed into a very dense but flexible material. This material could be used to reinforce the superstructure of those old Hercules-class cargo ships that Swan's always trying to find a use for. I wish there was some time to pursue the discharge field and iterate on the hardened matter. I doubt there will be. So basically what he's saying there is that there's two possible uses for this breakthrough, but he has only time to pursue one of them, which is why the two research paths are mutually exclusive. Alright, so now let's take a look at the mission before we end the episode. What's Zira Tool got?
I return to our ruined homeworld of Ire. The Zerg infestation still covered much of our beloved world. The desiccated remains of the Overmind were still there, a grim reminder of battles lost and battles won.
Alright, Echoes of the Future. So we're going to go see what we can learn from the Overmind, which is dead, or supposedly dead, what we can learn from it about the future. And we can get 6 research out of this, 2 Protoss and 4 Zerg, ideally, if we play it right. And if we need additional research, we can always go back, because I missed 2 Zerg research on the first of these Protoss missions. But anyway, Echoes of the Future will have to wait until the next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.
Oh look, by repeatedly spam clicking everything, I get monkeys.
I'm pretty sure that there's a monster back there. Oh, he's right there! Oh god, I ran the wrong way! I ran the wrong way! Oh. That could have saved me. Oh, good times right now. Oh.